But
Nickel,
I don't know whether we can go the whole way through a preview with you kicking the floor and chewing in your jaw. I don't think I
can go with it either because I'm afraid I may swear on.
Well, what's causing
radio.
all this angst?
The lack of respect. This beady-eyed purple warrior. Channel 9. It's a good show Thursday night, by the way.
Hang on, we're going to get.
But I tell you, no. But I tell you what, Damo. The word respect. Do you know what it means?
Move on, Danny. Get to the point.
No. I'm talking about Nick Riewoldt. Now, do you know he plays his 200th game this weekend?
Yep.
Like
the rest of the footy world does, yeah.
And the story that you broke on the footy show, look, no disrespect, good get. But do you think maybe the timing of you do it last week or next week regarding Ricky Nixon and the monies, you may have sort of kept it away from his 200th?
Sorry, just take me through what you want me to do.
Well, just a lack of respect for Nick Riewoldt. You're talking about...
There's a lack of respect for Nick Riewoldt.
Yeah, it is, because...
What was?
Well, how long have you been sitting on the story for?
I wasn't sitting on it at all. I was working on it for a number of weeks.
Okay, well, why didn't you run with it the week before?
I wasn't able to prove it until basically the Monday just gone.
And do you think he may have been watching the footy saying, okay, I'm looking forward to watching the show and maybe, they'll pump up... You're talking about a guy that's won 5 BNFs.
Yep.
You talk about Baldock, Stewart, Lockett and Robert Harvey. And there's probably one thing I am qualified on is to talk about St Kilda players. He will go down as the Fab Five with those other 4 guys.
You're talking rubbish though, mate.
I'm not, mate. It's a lack of respect for an absolute icon of the St Kilda Footy Club.
You are talking rubbish. You can't put a pause button on news, Danny.
But no one else has ran with the story.
Because no one else had this story, Danny.
But it never got a run in the paper or anything like that. I would have thought...
It did run in the back page of the Herald Sun the morning after it was on the footy show.
Enough of the chalking, boys. Now, I can tell you now, Damo, don't laugh. If you beat me with words, I'll get physical.
I don't know what your point is. So what's your point?
My point is, the guy's an absolute superstar, and I was watching.
So I'm meant to pause my job.
No.
That wasn't a lack of respect.
As a St Kilda person, I was disgusted that had to be... I was.
It was legitimate news story,
probably antiquated my point of view, but there's some old-fashioned values at times. You give...
Look, you don't have a luxury.
An even break at times.
I'll concede.
Maybe next week.
I'll concede you've got a point in the very big picture in an ideal world, Danny, which doesn't exist. I actually hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. So I'm not totally going to shoot your theory down. But I can't have that as a consideration, unfortunately. It doesn't mean I didn't think about it. And in fact, I mentioned it with Nick.
Shouldn't
and I spoke
we celebrate
to him on that
200
night.
games of an icon and just
we can do that, Danny.
Maybe do it on Monday. Put it on the confidential show on Monday.
But you don't have that luxury in doing what we do in chasing news, Danny. I don't mean to wait.
Obviously, the only guy that was sitting on it.
It could have gone at any stage.
Sorry, Gary. You're the only guy that was sitting on it. So
well, I wasn't to know that, and you never know that. That's the thing about news. You don't know. So when you get it and you get it proven, you've got to go with it.
To
when
be
your time
fair,
comes.
and I'm not supporting anyone because I don't like. I'd rather the fight continue.
No.
The commissioner was sniffing around the story as well. Was he not?
Yeah, we got wind of that on Thursday night, actually. So we didn't have the luxury of holding it any longer.
If I can jump in, what happened there is unfortunate, and you're right. Everything you say about Nick Riewoldt is right. And I would argue no one's blown more wind up his bum than me because I think he's unbelievable. But I've learned over the years that nothing holds in this caper. And if you got a story, whether it's a good one or a bad one, nothing holds. And Damo was right to go with the story.
And look, Danny... Again, as I said, I hear what you're saying, and it would have. I'm
old-fashioned then, I suppose. Maybe it's time I moved on.
But my job and other people's job in this industry is to break news, and when you get it and you can prove it, which I did.
Have you spoke to Nick at all?
Yeah, I spoke to Nick. Yeah, quite clearly.
After it or
not since? No, not since. But I spoke to him before it. But I'm not in the habit of talking to Nick outside story reasons anyway.
Would you have said maybe could you just give it a wide berth for a week?
Look, Nick knows the way the game works, Danny, and a lot of stuff. And again, Nick wouldn't comment on the actual topic, apart from giving you the statement saying it had been resolved. But Nick knows the way the media works, and he understands it. He's a big boy, Danny.
Well, maybe you and I need to have a few beers tonight and have a real good discussion about it. Because I'm not going to win the argument.
What about when we started laughing, he said, don't you two chortle?
Chortling.
Yeah, put us
more,
back in our box.
Well, maybe not more importantly, but as importantly to what you're talking about is what effect is all of this having on St Kilda as a footy club? This whole off-season, and now you've got what's happening with Allegedly, Damo says absolutely. Ricky Nixon owed a large sum of money by his star client and the captain of the club, and there are other people like Nicky Dowell who are also involved in Chicken's business. It has got to have permeated into the playing group somewhere.
And that's probably my point as well. They've got a big game. They need to win a game of football. Again, it's just another distraction. It should be a great celebration of a superstar of the club.
But then you've been around long enough.
I know that. Look,
the club can control its form. It can't control anything else.
To answer your question, JB, I think they've been resilient over the last 2.5 years. They've been... Did you
stop to grow up on him?
Well, grow up about trying to tell the media to hold stories.
Damo,
I just heard her grow up.
Did you say that to me?
Yep.
I'll tell you, mate. I might stand up, because if I stand up, I won't be able to control myself. Never say that again.
Grow up.
Gary? Your glasses are starting to get foggy. They'll get more than that in a minute.
Oh, not shortly.
He dropped a grow up.
I tell you, mate.
And thought he just got it out there without Spud probably hearing it.
Spud had to stop mid.
I was just about to answer your question.
Point.
The Saints have been resilient, and I think they continue to be resilient. But the real fact of the matter is they need to win a game of footy. And it can't help, put it that way. It cannot help all these distractions, and it's just one after the other. And that's probably just the frustration of me sitting there. And look, as I said, I sit from afar. But I was looking forward to seeing the celebration of a guy who's, his first year won the NAB Rising Star. Every second year wins a BNF. He's already won more BNFs than... Well, I don't have to go through his career because that's not the point. And you've made that perfectly clear, Mr. Sherman and Mr. Peabody. Don't you ever say to me, grow up again, I tell you.
Well, you need to in terms of how you look at how
He's
operates.
going back to the well, Damo.
Damo. You need to.
I said...
You've been in footy a long time. You've been on both sides of the fence. You still don't get it, do you? You don't actually understand how it works.
Maybe antiquated on this one, but I'll agree to disagree. I probably haven't got the minority out there, and fair enough, everyone wants to know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, you probably have more than I've got.
I think at times the champion needs to be cut a little bit of slack, and it used to be that way. It's not now. I understand that, but I just reckon there's a line there at times. The amount of times they give these star players of themselves maybe cuts them some slack for a day. Just after his 200th, then you go over that. That's
Jim.
all I'll say.
It's icy in here.
Damo,
it's icy.
If I could offer you some advice, don't go with it again. And
I'll tell you what.
It's surprisingly got away twice with the words
if
grow
Gary
up.
dares you to say it, mate,
I do think
he'll cop a clip as well. No, he won't. But I tell you what, do not.
I'll cop one.
Do not even think about that comment.
For National Builders,
I'll cop it off Anita. I get that every day at home, but not from you.
Saturday Rush.